What is going on, guys? Jay here. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I don't know what happened. The whole first part of this podcast got deleted, and I'm not sure how. So we pick up at today's topic, tips for new parents. Hope you guys enjoy. Here we go.
Okay, are you ready for today's topic? I know you are because I told you in advance and you've already prepared and blah, 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 but...
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, so today we are talking about our advice to first-time parents.
Don't do it.
Oh.
Just playing.
I only have one piece of advice.
I have one.
Do not procreate.
No, I'm joking.
No. We really like our children.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely been a huge adjustment becoming parents of two.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good. It's positive. We're happy. We're happy they're here.
The first time we went out, it was that the first time we went to the zoo? And we brought two different cars for some. Oh, because I was leaving
you
for
had
rehearsal
to go to
or
a rehearsal,
something.
yeah.
And I had both of the kids, and Annie went to go park her car somewhere else. And I was like trying to get the one out and undo the stroller, and then figure out like what to do with the other one while I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is that by the time Annie got there, I was like, we have too many kids.
Yeah, well, and like anytime we have to go anywhere, it's like we have a gigantic stroller in the back seat and then in the trunk and then two kids in the back seat. So there's no room for like anything else, like groceries. And I'm just
we haven't bought groceries in 3 months.
Leaning more towards a minivan by the day.
That's never going to happen, but
they're just so cheap. They're just so affordable. Okay, let's just back on topic.
It's not going to happen.
Our advice to new parents. So we each came up with a few things, and we're just going to bounce back and forth. Would you like to start? Would you like me to start?
Oh, yeah, I can go first. Okay. Advice topic or advice piece number 1. Have no expectations.
Ooh.
Don't expect the best. Don't expect the worst. Have absolutely zero expectations. Because if you do either of those, you're setting yourself up for failure. If you expect the best case scenario, it's never going to be that way. Mm-hmm. So you're just setting yourself up to be disappointed when things go wrong.
Yeah.
Which something, somehow, some way is always going to go wrong.
True. With
children. On the flip side, if you expect the worst all of the time, then you're just going to be an anxious wreck forever.
Sounds like me.
So take a page out of Annie's book. Yeah, like you can't expect really anything. Just know that you're going to have a child and you're going to take it day by day. And hopefully things work out in your favor.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. I think there's a lot of control that has to be, you have to learn how to let it go. Mm-hmm. Because there are plenty of things you can control about your child and your child's environment and, you know, their schedule and things like that. But then there's a lot of things where it's like, okay, yes, it's your baby, but it's also a human. And sometimes humans need to be a little unpredictable and they're going to wake up extra times on this day, or they need a little bit more love on this day. They may need, you know, I don't know. They may need to cry more one day and they need you to hold them one day. And then the next day they don't even want anything to do with you. So that's a great piece of advice.
Yeah. Just don't have any expectations.
I need to try and take a page out of that as far as the expecting the worst, because I truly am an anxious wreck a lot of the time. And I think I could do better on just relaxing with it, you know?
Sure. Take more baths.
I don't know if that's humanly possible. I take a bath like every single day.
The 1.5 that you take each day.
Yeah, so. 1.5. Yeah. Okay. See, mine's kind of an opposite of yours, but I think it's because I'm a woman and I've actually like birthed the baby, but
yeah.
Get the lowdown. This is my number 1. Get the lowdown on postpartum and the recovery process. So I shared a series on my Instagram stories after Ford was born. It's called Postpartum Diaries. They're all still saved there in highlights, and
Swipe up.
you can't swipe up on my account yet.
Almost
there, everybody. Just grab some friends and bring them on over. Anyway, I think it's a 4-part series, or there's 4 highlights for it. And I just was brutally honest with people about postpartum recovery. I felt like with Winston, I had zero idea of what was going on. I knew like a little bit, but I was definitely like a pioneer among my friends of having babies.
Mm-hmm.
I had one other friend who had a baby, and then she moved out of state.
To the literal other side of the country.
Mm-hmm. And then I had one other friend in Utah, and I did lean on her quite a bit. But I just think it's really important to be open about this process and to talk about it more. And if you have had babies, like, share the honest truth with people who are pregnant. If they ask you, I mean, like, you don't need to scare them, but I just feel like there's so much. I put all these things on my stories of like, this is what happened to me, right? This is your recovery. This is you wear diapers. You can't really take a bath for this long. Is there tearing? Is there stitching? Is there this? Is there that?
Right.
Do you take laxatives? Well, like, I know that's like a lot of information, but so many women were like, I had no idea. Like, I haven't had kids yet, but thank you for sharing this. And people who have had kids are like, thank you for bringing light to this. Like, that was such a horrible part of recovery. Or I totally forgot about that. I blocked it out. It was so bad.
And you kind of feel like you're going through it alone because people aren't talking about it. You're like,
yeah.
Am I the only one who's having this hard of a time?
And it feels like very shameful because your body is doing things that you can't control. Like, I remember when my milk was first coming in, I'd get out of the shower and like I would start leaking just getting out of the shower. And I just felt like so gross and embarrassed. And I don't know, once you realize it's not just your body doing it. Everyone does this. Everyone's body is doing this. Yeah. Everyone's experiencing it. It's so much easier to like take a deep breath and not be so hard on yourself and not be so, I don't know. There's so much pressure, especially with women who have had babies to quote unquote bounce back to their body.
Right.
And it's like, how do you even bounce back when you just feel like this leaky blub of a human being? Mm-hmm. It's just hard. So I would just say, get the lowdown and don't be afraid to ask questions. Anyone who is listening to this podcast, like, you can definitely ask me. I encourage you, if you are having a baby, to
absolutely
take some time to watch through that series. I had a ton of input from people who were in different situations, people with postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, people who had C-sections, which I did not have. And it was like really a community effort to create those highlights. And it's a
nice little resource.
It's a great resource. It'll take you a while to get through, but you can kind of like, I don't know, space it out. But get the lowdown, I think that's a good thing to be prepared for.
I'm glad you brought up postpartum depression and anxiety, because I think I do want to make a little caveat to mine in terms of if you always expect the worst, then you'll be an anxious wreck. If you are feeling overly anxious, consider that you possibly may be experiencing postpartum anxiety, which is a different thing. It's a diagnosable thing. It's something that with doctors and with professional help you can work through. So little caveat there that there is a difference between just expecting the worst and kind of bringing that anxiety on yourself versus postpartum anxiety, which, people do struggle with. And
yeah, definitely.
Anyway, just want to make that little distinction.
Definitely. Love that.
Okay. My next tip, create and maintain time for yourself.
Ooh, good tip.
So it's really easy to forget about your own needs once children are taking up, honestly, like the large majority of your time. You'll work, if you're a working person, you'll go to work for like 8 hours a day. and then come home and be a parent for the rest of the time. So that being said, really keep track of what it is that you enjoy, what you like doing, and create that time specifically within your week or within your day, your month, whatever it is. If it's a weekly racquetball game or a motorcycle ride, daily exercising, reading, painting. For me, it's music, and by nature of my career and having to sustain a business, that's a daily thing that I have to do. But being able to do that keeps me sane and, keeps me from only viewing myself through the lens of how well am I doing being a parent.
Yeah.
Because we're multifaceted people, and so we can't just view ourselves through one lens when we have several different titles. So, yeah, that would be my next one. Whatever it is that you do, continue to do that thing. Specifically, set aside time to be able to do that thing. So that you have that time for yourself.
I really like that, especially because, you need to do that not only for your sanity, but also for your identity and your self-identity. Like, identity and self-identity are the same thing, but okay. I think that, we've seen people who have raised kids and they put so much energy into their kids and no energy into themselves. And then their kids, remember that when you're having babies, you're not raising babies. You're raising people who will become independent, healthy adults. And once they are independent and healthy, they move on, they get married, they have their own kids. This is like straight from our pediatrician. And he was like, you want them to be independent. You want them to be able to do things on their own and to not need you. And in order for you as mom or dad to feel good and okay about that, you need to have your own identity too. Right. Have your own hobbies, have your own things that you look forward to. Don't put all of your happiness on, your kids winning this or your kid meeting this milestone. Like, those things are wonderful and happy, totally, but have something, even if it's like a once a month book club that is yours and that can define who you are, and make it so you don't feel like you're only living your life for other people,
Do you remember, I want to say it was like late 90s, early 2000s, there was this series of commercials that were like, what's your verb? Like, what it is that you do.
Yes.
Like, what's your thing?
I remember those commercials, A. And B, I remember you brought up those commercials when we were dating. That was your favorite question to ask people is like, what's your verb?
Wow. I forgot that I used to do that. So in talking about this, it reminds me of like, before you have kids, figure out what's your verb. What is it that you do? My verb is singing. That brings me joy. I love doing it. If I had to stop doing it, I would cry. So whatever your verb is, identify it and then make time to be able to continue doing your verb.
Yeah. I like that too, because for me, my verb has completely changed since having kids. Not because I've had kids, but because I have been an evolving human being and I have participated in in acknowledging my verbs, and then my verbs were able to grow. So originally, I sang and danced and I taught dance, and then I really honed in on the creative side of that, and I started creating things for our home, started creating a podcast, things like that. So don't think that you have to create one thing and stick to that one verb, but like allow yourself to experience that verb in order to grow and develop more verbs.
Great. Yeah, I love that.
Love that for us.
Love that for you and your journey.
Okay, my second piece of advice is to slow your roll with the baby products.
Oh, yes, please.
Oh my gosh.
Say it again.
Moms and dads, you will be marketed to like it's no one's business.
As soon as you post that first Instagram of, hey, we're pregnant,
the companies are going to target you. You need this. This makes all the difference. No. You need XYZ. You do not. Just remember, people have been born in caves. People have been born in huts for years. People.
What do I always say? Jesus was born in a manger and he turned out just fine.
He turned out just fine. So do not think, and I also think that baby products have become such a status symbol nowadays. And it's so
very true.
It's like moms already feel insignificant enough. Like, we don't need all these baby companies, like, and these influencers only posting these companies that if you don't have this car seat, if you don't have this swaddle, if you don't have this whatever, like, you're less than.
This diaper bag.
Yeah, but let me just price the diaper bag at $300. But if you don't have it, like, come on. Just know that people...
Is that diaper bag going to get my baby into college?
No.
Exactly.
Just know that people are ready to make money off of you. And they've created really great marketing campaigns, and you do not need to fall into that.
Not at all.
I will say there are some... Okay, I want to be sensitive about this because I know that there are some products that people love that I don't love, and I think every baby is different and every mom is different. So sometimes...
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like they created the product. Like,
true, but I think like there's some things that I don't like that other moms like, and it has changed it's made their motherhood journey so much easier. Okay, it just hasn't happened to do the same for me. So nobody take offense. I'm not telling you that you're doing a bad job. This is just my POV.
Grand.
So a couple of products, well, your basic necessities, right? You have to have diapers. You have to have wipes.
You have to have a bottle.
Yeah, well, if you eventually, your baby will likely take milk. If you're breastfeeding, you don't need a bottle right off the bat.
Right, yeah.
Most babies do like binkies right off the bat, and if you can find a binky that your kid, pacifier, if you want to be
That's
fancy.
Hilarious, because I was literally thinking, I was like, I don't know if binky's the real word here.
It's not. You can't even spell it correctly on, like, spell check. So, yeah. I bought these cute pacifiers for Ford. I had seen them everywhere. They come in all these cute colors. He won't take them for anything. The only pacifier that he really likes is a pacifier that came in a free registry box that was given to us after we registered, at Target. And we got that with Winston, and it was unopened. I used it for Ford because it looked like it had a small nipple on it, and it's the only thing that he really likes. I've never seen the brand anywhere else. I did find them on Amazon today. They're called MAM, M-A-M, M as in mom. And but I do think a pacifier that your kid likes is a necessity because it can do a lot to calm them down. And in my research, it can help a lot with SIDS. So at least...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I would say, like, safety-wise for me, making it till, like, about 6 months with a pacifier just kind of gave me peace of mind with Winston, knowing that it helped decrease. I mean, SIDS is kind of a big mystery, but there has been some research into pacifiers.
That's good.
Let's see. What other necessities? I think a swing is a big necessity because it helps the baby to feel like they're being held, and it gives you the opportunity to actually set them down and get whatever you need to done. And a swaddle. Now, finding a good
swaddle, yeah, that's like pretty much like a must, right? They make you swaddle them in the hospital.
Yeah, but that didn't used to be a thing. Like, swaddling did not used to be a thing, but it's like, I think the number one best thing to get your baby to calm down.
Jesus had a swaddle.
And sleep.
He was born in swaddling clothes.
But that being said, there are so many swaddles out there. Here's a truth bomb. The cute muslin swaddles that are everywhere, that are printed and $30 a pop, do not work once your baby is like 1 week old. They're so cute to look at. They're so pretty. They have cute designs. They do not stick together, and your baby will become the Hulk and rip it off.
Just bust right through that thing.
So that is like the biggest. I think those swaddles, like if you're using it throughout the day just to keep them warm, like as a blankie or set it down on the floor, that's where I get the most use out of those muslin swaddles.
Yeah.
Past that, not very practical.
Not for sleeping because they just rustle too much and it just falls off.
It falls right off. I would say a jersey swaddle, those stick together a lot better.
Is that the stretchy ones?
Yep, and they can stretch so tight. And then either a Velcro or a zip-up swaddle is going to be your best bet. Ford has started doing this thing with a loose blanket swaddle, like a jersey swaddle or even a muslin swaddle, where he will wrestle his arms up enough to where the fabric is over his face. And it freaks me out so bad. So for the night, we've pretty much done away with any loose swaddles. So I don't recommend those. And I have seen there are some really awesome swaddle inventions out there. Some where they Velcro their arms down first and then they zip them up.
Oh, the snoo.
The snoo does that. Some where they have the ability to have their arms up by their ears instead of down by their side. I can't remember the name of that one, but then I've seen a couple of like lightly weighted swaddles, and those seem like they would work great.
That seems like it would work really well because this one loves like your
hand.
being on him.
Yeah. What are some products that you have loved?
Diapers, wipes, and that's about it.
I would say try a few diapers, try a few different wipes, see what you like, because there are some that are more effective than others. And I will say, like, as much of a bummer as it is, all of like the organic diapers that we've tried or like the chemical-free diapers, like they just don't work as well. So I'm going to need you to
step your game up.
Step your game up.
Put the gluten back in it. I don't know what you took out, but yeah, I've said this since the beginning, but I'm such a minimalist when it comes to buying baby things. Like, if they need it to survive, buy it. And if they don't, you don't need it.
Yeah. I think there's tiers, right? You have your tier 1 of like absolute necessities. You need some place where they can sleep safely. But you don't need every product or every bassinet under the sun in order for them to do so. You don't even need a crib when they're first born. So like,
no, you got a oversized shoebox.
Oh my God.
Put them in that. I don't know. Like,
yeah, that is actually a real thing. It's called the baby box. Look it up. Absolutely. We had it with Winston and
Swedish, right?
You don't put the lid on, but
yeah,
very smart
it's
invention.
Just a big cardboard box.
Again, another thing that helped reduce SIDS in Sweden. I believe it was Sweden.
I think it's Sweden.
Okay. What are some products you don't like?
You already know number 1 on the top of my list. See, I'm gonna count to 3 and tell me.
You want us to say it at the same time?
Yeah, say it at the same time and see if it's the same.
1, 2, 3. The DockATot.
Easily.
Yep.
What in the world is this thing?
You guys, we have been bamboozled.
Absolutely bamboozled. This is just a oversized towel wrapped in a circle. That is it.
It's not even, you guys, when you unzip it, it's a kickboard. You remember the kickboards from the pool?
Yo.
And a foam snake.
You
pay $200 for this.
This exact thing is just, take a big beach towel, put it in an oval, and use a hair tie or a rubber band and tie the ends together. There you go. DockATot.
DockATot. And people praise this thing to high heaven. And if it made such a difference to my baby or whatever,
I just don't see how. Like, genuinely, how does this specific DockATot make a difference to any baby?
I don't know.
There's no way under the sun that any baby is like, you know what? If it wasn't a DockATot, I'm not sleeping. There's no way. There's absolutely no way.
I think, being devil's advocate, the only thing I could say is how the sides come up may feel comforting to a baby that's sleeping.
The devil's a liar. That's all I know. DockATot, look, if y'all hear this, I understand. We're not getting sponsored by y'all after this. I'm fine with that because this thing makes no sense to me. And it's difficult to wash and put back in the thing.
It's the most difficult thing to wash. My favorite bassinet is actually the Lullyboo bassinet. They originally sent that to us as a collaboration, and I think we got it like week 2 that Ford was alive, and immediately the DockATot took a backseat to that thing. It's so light. It's so easy to wash. You can roll it up into a backpack and take it anywhere. Use it outside. It has a little sunshade that we use all the time because it's kind of like comforting for him.
And the DockATot has no resale value, so you're just losing.
You're just losing $200, and
how was this $200?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've been bamboozled.
Isn't it like 100% cotton? Like, what is the material?
Yeah, I don't know. But the Lullyboo bassinet is only like $75. Great investment. Okay, the other thing that I don't love, and I wish I loved it so badly, is the wild bird sling. I bought it in the most beautiful color that's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And I have tried it probably once a week since Ford was born. He's almost 3 weeks old now, or 3 months old now. And he doesn't like it, which makes me feel like I'm doing it wrong. It hurts my back so badly. I have watched videos. I've tried over and over and over again.
I've taken college level courses on it.
I DM'd them and I sent them photos of how I was wearing it. And I said, please help me. You guys, it's an $80 sling.
Did they reply?
Yeah, they were so helpful and nice. And they were like, some babies just need more adjustment. I'm like, I don't know, man. I just don't know. And it really hurts my back. I decided this week to use my Ergo Baby. And even though that thing is just not as cute, it's having that back support on there.
It's ergo.
It's ergonomical.
Yeah, it's
is that the word?
I think it's like ergonomic, but yeah, whatever.
It's ergonomical.
It's out here being mad ergonomic.
Yeah, that's the other thing that just, again.
And here's I'm not even mad at I'm genuinely mad at DockATot. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's mad.
I'm just
he's
through
angry.
the roof at DockATot. I am not mad at my wild bird because that's just like a piece of cloth that wraps around and seems like, all right, if your baby's into that kind of thing, then your baby would be into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's just that our child is not into it.
And Winston didn't like it either. So, I mean, I should have learned my lesson, but I really wanted to try again. Moms have sworn by it. I just need to repurpose the fabric though, because I can't sell it. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. I can see why people would enjoy it, and but
yeah,
DockATot,
everyone's pretending with DockATot.
Y'all need to go. Yeah, that's exactly it. Because they're like, you know what? I spent $200 on this, and I'm not gonna get on social media and admit that I hate the fact that I spent $200.
And I'm not gonna admit donut. How
this cloth donut. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I think that's it as far as products go. Really?
That's right. Oh yeah, we're still on. I forgot that we have other things to get to.
Yeah. Maybe I'll compile a list if anyone is interested of like our top things. But there are things that are more of a necessity. Again, that like tiers. I'm happy to advise if anyone has any questions. Okay, what is your next one?
All right. Wait, what is my next one? Oh yes. Okay. Get ready to forgive yourself.
Oh, preach. Also, by the way, Ford is nursing, so if you can hear him in the background. This is real life, guys. So
IRL.
IRL.
Is that a real song? Or did you just write that because you're a songwriter?
I'm a singer-songwriter.
Right. Get ready.
Right.
Correct. Get ready to forgive. Sorry, I don't know.
Get ready to forgive yourself.
Yeah, get ready to forgive yourself. All parents screw up, so just know that you're going to and be okay with it.
Yeah.
Unless you're genuinely abusive to a baby or a child, those first few years really aren't going to mess up your kid. Like,
No.
they're going to be all right. If
They
you,
gonna be alright.
like, if you gave them a little bit too much screen time, or
Oh, screen time is my best friend.
Oh, you mean the babysitter that's built into the wall? So yeah, like they're going to be okay if they're not saying their ABCs as fast as the next kid. It's not your fault. Yeah, like if you don't feel like you're doing a great job potty training, which is me right now, like I genuinely feel like it's like my fault. I'm like, I don't know.
Me too.
I just I have no idea what is going on here. But look, like it's not like the kid is gonna get to 7 years old and not know how to pee. So I'm just like,
I mean,
it'll be fine.
He'll get there.
He'll get there.
We just need to do a little bit more research. But that's the thing. Like we have tried multiple times with potty training, and it is really hard not to just take it on yourself and be like, I'm the worst parent ever. Why can't I get this down? You do need to forgive yourself. And just because someone else got something done or in a day, or, their kids eat all their vegetables, like, honestly, it means nothing if your kid doesn't. So
yeah, absolutely.
Be able to forgive yourself. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So just get ready to forgive yourself. Give yourself the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And, technically, I guess it might be a different thing, but I included it in here, is just counting the small wins. Like,
oh, you must.
Yeah. If you got your kid down at the time you wanted to on Wednesday was a win. Like, if it didn't happen on Thursday, that's fine, But yeah, count the small wins, because at the end of the day, I mean, I was gonna say
small wins. Count them one by one.
Count your many small wins. Yeah, I was gonna say at the end of the day there are probably gonna be more L's than W's, but that's probably not true. I don't think that's actually true.
There's gonna be a good amount of L's though.
There will be, yeah,
no doubt.
There will be a good amount of L's, but like count all the W's you can, because you earned them.
All right, I really like that. Okay, my final one is in the same vein, but it is, at the end of the day, if you and your child are alive, you're doing great.
Yo, true. Very true.
I think that we've had our fair share of good days and bad days. But we've kept our children alive, and we're alive, and we can breathe through it, and
coronavirus hasn't gotten us.
Yeah. I heard this was a piece of advice given to me when I was having like a big meltdown, and they were like, well, you're safe, your child's safe, you're alive, they're alive, you're fed, they're fed. Just take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Like you were saying, it's not going to affect them. Like, it's not going to impact the course of their lives if they have McDonald's cheeseburgers 3 times in 1 week.
It'll be okay.
I mean, don't do that every day, but
yeah.
Balance, right?
Yeah. I like that. I have long made the joke that I've long made the joke. Forgot what the joke was. I've long made the joke that my parenting standard is the child alive? And if they're alive, I'm succeeding at parenting.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. So when you're having a bad day, just remember that you're still doing great.
Yeah, absolutely. My final piece of advice was have a support system in place. Have some people
good
on your speed dial, ready to go, that you can depend on, whether it is parents, friends, neighborhood, church friends.
Get that friend group chat popping of other parents.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was even saying they don't even need to be parents, just people that you can depend on in some time of need. Like running errands becomes a lot more difficult. Toting around children, even toting around just one child. So like if you need to just go and go to the grocery store and you need somewhere to plop your kid for an hour, have that in place.
Yeah, have that list of like, I trust these people with my child's life.
Yeah,
and I
absolutely.
could call them at the drop of a hat. We have many friends, not many, but like, I don't know, we probably have like a list of 5.
Yeah. And honestly, the list is even bigger of people who have volunteered. It's just that most of the time I forget.
Yeah, or strangers will volunteer, and like, as nice as that is.
Right. It's like, I've never even been to your house, though.
I don't even know your last name, though.
Yeah. Yeah, just have that support system in place, ready to go. And if you are on your own, if perhaps you're a military family who doesn't live by family or is new to the neighborhood or something, go outside your comfort zone a little bit, meet people, meet the other neighborhood moms, meet the other people in your church, whatever, so that you can supplement the lack of family or friends being nearby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, well, should we move on to Dear Mom and Dad?
Let's do it.
Okay. Sorry, let me just... Okay, there I go.
There she goes.
There she goes. Okay.
There she goes again.
Tips. This is like a very loose question, but tips for maintaining a temporary long-distance relationship. So she didn't say exactly why it was temporary, but I'm imagining like...
Is the relationship temporary or the long distance is temporary?
I think it's... My guess would be...
That's a dumb question.
Wait, but that was my first thought too. And then I was like, oh no, that can't be it.
We're in just a temporary relationship.
Yeah. So temporarily apart. My guess would be due to quarantining and like maybe someone wants to go quarantine with their parents.
Right. In Jupiter, Florida. Oh, she said the N-word this week. Yikes.
Oh, yeah.
That was awkward.
That was awkward. We should have done that for one of our news stories.
I know, right? Yeah. Hannah Brown.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so tips for maintaining a temporary long-term relationship.
A temporary long-distance relationship.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. I would say, number 1, let's establish some expectations on like how often do we want to talk, or how often do we want to FaceTime?
Yeah, because obviously, like, after middle school, you don't really expect someone to text you back all day,
right.
like every hour, all day long,
And if you are expecting people to do that, you're out of your mind. I'm just telling you that straight up. If you are expecting people to text you back immediately at any hour, you're out of your mind.
Well, and to text you all day, it's like, okay, there's only so much you could text about, I feel.
Right.
Like, hop on a phone call,
Get that Marco Polo on.
Oh, yeah. Get that Marco Polo on deck. Get yourself a little phone stand. Get rid of your carpal tunnel.
Annie has a phone stand on her desk that she specifically ordered on Amazon just to be able to Marco Polo.
Well, just to be able to Marco Polo while I was charging my phone. Because, like, you can prop it up against other things, but Marco Polo was draining my battery like none other.
That's to tell you how much she's using Marco Polo.
So that's the thing. I wasn't using it that much before because I didn't have a phone stand. And also to film little tutorials, but it's not really great for that. So maybe 4 out of 5 stars on my Amazon review.
4 out of 5 stars. Okay, so let's establish some expectations. How often are we communicating during this quarantine or long distance thing?
Yeah, I definitely agree. And well, I think that's really all you can do because all you can do is communicate. You're not going out with your friends at this. I mean, maybe some people are starting to, but it's not like you're getting asked out on dates and you're saying no, kind of a thing, right?
Oh yeah, that's a good. Well, I mean,
there's so many variables in this situation.
Well, I feel like quarantine is like loosening up, so you very well could be going on a date.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
So I guess that falls into set your expectations about your relationship status.
Yeah. I think types of communication can vary. There are the obvious ones: texting, phone calls, FaceTime, Marco Polo, which we've talked about.
Yeah. So I think deciding like a regular FaceTime is really good. Even if it's like,
That can
okay,
be fun, yeah.
Sunday nights, we FaceTime for like a couple hours, but you don't have time during the week, that sort of thing.
Dang, a couple hours. Whoa.
Well, I don't know. You might not have time during the week, and you might want to like set aside a time to like
That's
chat
a good
with
point.
your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever. Yeah, I like that. I really don't think there's many other tips.
I have
right?
some creative, like, kind of fun things if you're into that. But what? Why are you laughing?
If you're into that, what are you gonna say? I'm nervous.
Nervous? What? This is a very lukewarm question. Writing or becoming pen pals, I think is fun. I did that my freshman year of college with
your first wife.
With my first wife.
Okay.
That I had previous to the first time I was married to you. Yeah. No, just with like some girls that went to other colleges. Like, we just wrote
girls.
letters.
I'm just kidding. You guys, I'm not that person.
Yeah, I think that's kind of fun. Like snail mail.
I think that's fun too. Or, but you, well, yeah, okay.
Like
I was
postcards.
going to say something else, but then that wasn't making sense. Postcards is so fun. You can order fun postcards from Amazon, any sort of theme that you want. Like I recently bought postcards for the 50 states.
Those were fun.
They were fun because every time you send one, it's a different state and it's cute. I like that idea. Good job, babe.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I've been in many temporary, long-term distance relationships. So yeah, that is a fun one. Also, like, sending memes back and forth to each other, I think is hilarious. That's a fun way to get to know each other. Or like you could
each watch a TV show separately and then you come together and you chat about it. Or how about
or you start a podcast together via Zoom. Never mind. This is just really
I like that idea. What about your cousins? Jay has 3 cousins that are brothers. 3 brothers that are his cousins. Okay. And they've been watching the Michael Jordan documentary separately, but then live texting each other while it's going on.
Oh, so yeah, that's a good one.
That would be fun to watch something at the same time and just live text each other.
Yeah, while you're watching it. Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Good job, dude.
Thank you.
Good job to my cousins. But
yeah, thanks for that idea. So yeah, I think those are some good suggestions. And I think if you're like really digging this person, like sending them a cute little surprise, every now and then via Amazon or something that's just like thinking of you. I mean, there's a lot of places that aren't. What? Dude. Send him a phone stand.
Do you know, remember the part in Schitt's Creek where Stevie and, what's his name? What's Daniel Levy's name in the show?
David.
Oh, David, yeah. They like always tell each other like, regards, like.
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
Warm wishes. Regards. Give my best to Bob Cratchit.
You just write a card that just says regards. Yeah. With a picture of
just regards.
Dan Levy.
I love him. I love him. Okay, well, I think that's good. What do you think? Moving on to the next?
Yeah, that's great. Little factoid. The voice of Franklin the turtle is David's boyfriend in season 6 of, I think it's season 6. The one who sings Simply the Best, that one. He's Franklin.
Yeah, great discovery. I think that we should put a test in for our listeners. Like, if you have listened this far and, well, this doesn't really make any sense.
Were you going to say who is the voice of Franklin?
Oh, that's funny. No. You know what? Scratch that. I'll think about it and put one in next week. Right, I was going to say, if you listen to this podcast and you're a fan of Schitt's Creek, then comment on our Instagram post for this week's episode. But then it's like, I don't want to narrow it too much. Like, what if nobody's fans of Schitt's Creek?
True.
Then we can't be friends, but I'm just kidding. Okay, are you ready for the next? On to the next?
Yeah.
This is an interesting one. I'm starting nursing school in May, so this month. It's
Hats off to you.
Yeah, congrats. Working on the front lines.
Warmest regards.
Oh. It's 2.5 years long, but I really want another baby. So she's asking, what should she do?
She should have another baby. She wants a baby.
I mean, I think that's a very black and white answer to you, but I have another good friend who, shout out Kareen, who has been doing school, and she was actually a nurse as well, but then she went back to school, and her and her husband have been debating a baby for a long time, and she really didn't want to be like in the thick of her schooling while taking care of a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's been a debate, they've been trying to figure out when to have a baby.
Here's the thing. I mean, there's just no good time to have a baby. Like, a baby absolutely disrupts every aspect of your life. There's no, that's the whole point of this episode, right?
Yeah.
Expect the unexpected. Don't have any expectations, blah, 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 whatever. There's no good time to have a baby. So if you have the baby now, you'll be stressed in nursing school. If you have the baby later, you'll be stressed working 12-hour shifts as a nurse. I don't know what to...
That's nail on the head. What a good question for this week's episode.
Yeah. That's really all I have to say. Okay, sure. Let me be a little bit more paternal here. Weigh out what you currently have going on, your current workload. Perhaps going to school is harder than actually being a nurse. So maybe you don't want to do that while you're in school. I genuinely don't know which is more time consuming or energy consuming, actually being a nurse or being in school to be a nurse. So I would weigh those out and then go from there. I think the other thing to consider is your finances. If you have...
Speaking of being interrupted.
Oh, yeah.
By our children.
I just have a poop.
Oh, you got a little poop? All right, well, pause. Let's go change the poop. All right, we're back from changing the poop. I think that's a really good sign of this episode's over.
I think it is too.
That experience is the answer to your question.
Mm-hmm. That's every day, all day long.
Yeah, would you prefer to have that experience doing homework or just after you got home from your 12-hour shift?
Or right after you thought you put the kid to bed and he wakes up with a poop.
Yeah. Weigh your options. Have a good one.
All right.
I don't know why.
I just want to do monster voices for a little bit.
All right. We're going to sign off. We have to attend to a toddler. Thanks for listening.
Follow us on Instagram at The Internet's Mom and Dad. Send us an email at theinternetsmomanddad@gmail.com. We love you very much.
Love you. Bye.